Collin, thanks for the time. And you're on the Barracuda right now. It's interesting because even before you ever played any games for the Barracuda, you played for the Sharks last year.
Yeah.
So how are you finding the American Hockey League and kind of your first go-around with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good league. It's definitely a step up from college for sure. And I think that like playing in that for the first 3 months of the year really helped me when I got called up to the Sharks. I think that I did a lot of things better than I did in the first 7 games. And I think that, it's another chance to just develop skills. And it's obviously a little bit slower, a little bit smaller than the NHL. So I think that it's a good chance for players, especially younger players, to develop those skills before they try to make the jump full time.
You're about 30 games into your AHL career, almost a point per game player at that pace so far. On paper, that looks great. How do you see your game growing so far this season?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is the penalty kill. I mean, a lot of people have touched on it, but it's something that I didn't really do in college. It's something that I really didn't have much experience with, and then it was something that, management and the coaching staff noticed in training camp or something along those lines, and started doing it at the start of the year with the CUDA in a sort of a limited fashion. And I think it's just, I like doing it. It's fun. It's something different. It's another chance for me to expand my game, and I think that I think I do it pretty well. And when I got called up to the Sharks, it was something I did there too. So it really, I'd say that's the biggest thing I've added to my game.
When you're kind of asked to either be on a PK or maybe make that more of your game, a certain level of trust, I feel like, comes with that. Like they don't look at just anybody and everybody and say, we want you on the kill. I guess that goes with any hockey team or player, though, right?
Yeah.
But you must feel that certain responsibility when you're asked to do that.
Yeah, I think that I've always been defensively responsible. I think that's part of my game.
Yeah.
That I don't cheat for offense. I don't do anything like that. But yeah, obviously it's an honor to be able to penalty kill. It just shows that the coaching staff trusts you out there in situations where you're not really looking to score. You're mostly just looking to prevent a goal.
It was late last year when you joined the Sharks, obviously at the end of the season, but recently when you were on the team, it was fun to watch you in that sequence, and especially when Coach Warsofsky had you, Will, and Macklin on a line together.
Yeah.
I think you'd be the only one that's legal to have a drink on that line,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
But that's also a sign of responsibility, that 3 players of that age are on a line together, and that he saw you fit together to work together. What was that like to be on that line?
Yeah, it was really fun. It was obviously super fun college hockey connection there. So
the Hobie Baker line, yeah.
yeah, we playing against them last year, getting the chance to play with them was really fun. And I think that I mean, I thought we did good. We didn't play together for that much, but had a goal, had some
brief,
some chances, and I thought it was good.
You also, when you were playing for the Sharks, had the road trip through Boston, got to play a game at TD Garden, which is amazing because you were a junior Bruin coming up. So what was that like specifically to go back to Boston?
Yeah, it was honestly one of those memories that you'll never forget. Like I've never played in the TD Garden before that. It was just weird.
Ever? For anything?
Ever.
Wow.
No games. No games ever.
Yeah.
So getting the chance to do that and being able to have a lot of family be able to come out and watch me play. My friends, my old college team at Quinnipiac talked to the coach, got the day off. So all the guys who I played with last year were able to make the trip up, and it was just like a special moment for everyone who's helped me get to this point, and being able to reward them with getting to watch them play in a rink that I've gone to numerous games as a fan. Being able to play in one of those games was super special.
When somebody says to you, soak it in, what does that actually look like? Like during the game, did you actually have a moment where you just kind of look around, take it in, and capture it? What does soaking it in mean to you? Yeah,
I'd say probably the most during warm-ups. Yeah. I remember I was obviously a little bit on edge, like amped up, just because then I saw my college buddies, and they had a bunch of signs, and they made it fun, and it gave me a good chuckle during warm-ups. And I think that was probably, because once the game starts, you're mostly just focused on the game. I wouldn't say you're looking around the rink the most, but in warm-ups, you sort of you got some time to look around and really enjoy it and think about like where you've sat when you've come to games and stuff like that. But I'd say that the main thing was just seeing all my friends and with the signs that were funny and just made me laugh.
This is a really off-the-wall question here. I hope you hang with it.
Okay.
Playing college hockey, you got the birdcage on, everybody does. When you're a pro, you switch to the visor.
Yeah.
Is it like super liberating to be able to like feel the game and see the game a lot better without the cage on and just have the plastic visor?
Yeah, I mean, I used the cage for like
forever.
Yeah, like 15 years.
Right. You
so
get used to
yeah,
it, right?
Like I was pretty comfortable with it. I'd say honestly, when I switched to the visor, like the first couple, like that at the end of the year and like in dev camps and stuff like that, like it feels different. Like the lights feel like different.
Right.
But
was it hard to go back to the cage ever if you had to do that? Like could you?
I think I could. I could. But yeah, I'd say I like the visor besides the occasional whack in the face or something like that. But I think the visor's better for sure.
I'm 43. I'm still a cage guy, but you know, gotta protect the assets here. As a 17-year-old, and this is what research tells me, you were 5'8", 145 pounds. What are you now?
Yeah, I mean, I think like
you're not 5'8" anymore.
No, I would whatever.
Not 145.
Whatever it's
either.
on the line chart, 6'1", 190.
Yeah.
Just
so 6'1", 195 is what I have here.
Yeah, maybe just lose a couple weight in the middle of the year, but yeah,
it's tremendous. Like your body went through that, and obviously that must have helped you. That growth spurt must have helped you as a hockey player.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's probably one of the biggest reasons that I ended up not getting drafted was just my size and just not being able to be an impact player like I wanted to be, just because I would say for those 15, 16, 17, maybe even 18 a little bit, just not being like big and not having to having to do extra just to get by. But I think that like in the long run it really helped me because I had to be I think it helped my smarts a lot. I had to be careful on the ice, or because if I put myself in a bad spot I was going to get hurt.
Sure.
Because the guys were so big.
And
and I was small, so I think it helped me, and for the long run it just helped me like know where to go in situations and sort of keep myself in good spots on the ice.
I think the obvious is that anybody who doesn't get drafted probably carries a chip on their shoulder, and you're not the only player to make it to the NHL that's been undrafted. But I want to get the other side of it too. What gets you noticed after you don't get drafted? What does get you noticed to get those opportunities to get where you've got so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I'd say there's a couple things, but honestly, I didn't talk to an NHL team until my sophomore year of college, and the only reason I did is because we won the national championship.
Yeah.
So
that'll get you noticed.
Yeah, I'd say winning is probably the biggest thing. Being part of a winning culture, being part of a winning team. Like, I mean, it's different for OHL and college, but for me, like college, like we had our line was 2 undrafted guys and a 7th rounder who was like the second to last pick, and we all signed NHL deals, and I would contribute most of that to winning and being on a team that wins and being on a team that you can perform in big games. I think that's a really big thing too that scouts mentioned. And I mean, obviously, like you have to have some ability, like you got to be able to play and produce in your type of way, whether it be offensively or defensively. But I'd say that being part of a winning team is the biggest thing for me to help me get noticed.
I don't know what you can share here about this thing I'm going to ask you about, but when you are brought back to the Barracuda after you've been up with the Sharks, I think it was 10 games, you were just recently with the Sharks. When you come to the Barracuda, is there a message included with that, like, hey, this is what we want to see from you next time, or here's what we want you to work on, or is there anything delivered with that, or is it just the understanding that you're young and this takes time and you'll be back?
No, I'd say there's always a conversation. I mean, it's like whether it be at the end of training camp, you have a discussion with the management. When I got called up, I had a discussion with the management, like sort of what they...
You get some feedback all the time.
Yeah, what they wanted me to do. And I'd say in the last week, it was sort of the same idea. It's just sort of going down and like a couple things to work on and a couple good things I did, like sort of just give me their honest feedback and then go down here and work on what I have to work on and try to get back up.
Do you like that? I mean, I would like that as a performer if somebody said, hey, we like this, we want you to work on that. Just, we know where we stand, right?
Yeah, I'd say honesty is the best policy.
Absolutely.
If you don't know what you're doing wrong, then it's pretty hard to fix. So
you're in an interesting spot in that you've spent time on the Sharks and you've also spent a decent amount of time with this team. How do you compare the two rooms? Are the vibes similar? Are the teams, obviously the Barracuda are trying to be a playoff team and the Sharks are not in that position. What are the two rooms like in comparison right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would say they're pretty similar, just because you're a hockey player, you've been around it. Like, it's the same sort of banter and chirps and stuff like that. Like, everyone has fun no matter what the situation is in the locker room. I would say, I mean, there's obviously some more younger guys on the Barracuda than the Sharks, but that would probably be the main difference. I'd say it's not a lot of guys on the Sharks, are not a lot, but like more guys are married and have families and stuff like that.
Last thing for you, how special would it be for the Barracuda to get to the playoffs this year? And if you think about all the talent you could get from some players in the Sharks right now, or even bringing some players up to this level, I feel like it would do a lot of different things in a lot of different ways for the Barracuda to be in a postseason and make a really sustained run. Yeah,
I think that it's really important. You know, as I mentioned before, like, the biggest thing people look for is winners, and I think that being able to be a playoff team and being able to go deep in the playoffs is really important, not only just to prove that you can win, but also to get that experience, because obviously the season, as it goes on, it gets harder and harder, and then playoffs, it's sort of everyone's given 100%. Like, there's no easy exits, there's no easy entries, there's no easy goals, there's no easy, like, everything's harder obviously because you're beat up for the whole season, so it's as much mental as it is physical at that point. So it'd be really exciting to make a run.
All right, Collin, I appreciate the time. Best of luck this season on whatever team it is. I know you'll be doing great things.
Thank you.
Thank you.